Right.
You guys ready? We were waiting on you.
It's true.
Good evening. Welcome to the November 12th, 2013 meeting of the Manchester Town Council. We do have a quorum tonight. Councilman Black is out of town on business, and Councilman Howe is not going to be able to make it. So we do have 3 people and are able to conduct our business meeting. First order of business is the approval of the October 8th minutes. I should have those in a packet. Everybody had a chance to read through them. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion that we approve the October 8th minutes as submitted.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next order of business is receipt of the October 2013 check register. Again, you have a copy. You hear a motion to receive the check register for October.
Make a motion to receive the check register for October.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving right along again, Mayor's report. We had Halloween, 2 weeks ago. From everything that I've heard was a success. We had no major incidents. The weather held out for the most part, and it rained a little bit, during the day. But every Halloween that we get through and we don't have major incidents in town, and everyone seems to get through the night, particularly the young ones out there, safe and with a bag of candy is a success from our standpoint. Definite thanks go out to our town employees for being on guard that night, and to our town police, all of which were on duty and had a plan in place to get somebody into each of the neighborhoods to help control the speeding and keep everything moving along. Natalie Singer, our youth representative, is back with us tonight. I know she's feeling a little bit under the weather. I think you missed last month. Were you at the field hockey game? The one you guys lost to the state champions? Was that one? No, okay. So glad to have Natalie back. Natalie is moving along with our town Facebook page. So as time goes on, we are going to get more into social media, and we'd like to get to the point where we're using that more of a way to disseminate information quickly to people that want that information quickly. This past Sunday, the town celebrated or recognized Memorial Day. On Sunday, we had a ceremony here in town. For those that were able to make it, it was a really good ceremony. For those that weren't, I'd encourage you to try to come out to one of those when we have those in the future. Definite thanks goes out to Kelly, Steve, and the rest of the town staff for pulling that off. We had the Manchester Valley, make sure I get this right, was it the Jazz Ensemble or the Brass Ensemble? The Brass Ensemble that played a few selections. We had Senator Getty as a speaker. We added 5 names to the War Memorial, so that was a really good event. And the weather held out, except for I guess we had a woods fire going on in Baltimore County, so we kept getting interrupted by the siren. So.
Ryan, can I have one thing to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are 4 of those orange ones.
So if we have people that meet the criteria, if they essentially born and raised in Manchester, if they're a veteran, we'd like to know about them. We have applications here, and is it every 2 years you put names on? It's every 5 years? Okay. So get in early. And then finally, my last order of business here rolls into the next issue, which is the discussion of the position of the police chief. So this is a long time coming, and our long and arduous journey to get the right person in here to lead our town police department into the future has come to an end. And so I'd like to introduce and officially nominate Mr. John Hess, who's here tonight. I think the members of the council know him, and they were in on the interview process and have had a chance to meet him. He's a 29-year member of the Baltimore Police Department, where he retired as a major. Mr. Hess was selected for the position after an extensive search process, received a unanimous recommendation from the members of the town council at its regular meeting. I'm sorry, a unanimous recommendation from the search committee which was comprised of myself, Councilman Wilder, and Chief Spalding, that met over the last couple of months. So, Mr. Hess, would you like to say a few words to the town council?
Yeah, I just would like to take a moment to say thank you, Mayor, thank you, Town Council, and thank you, Town Manager, for selecting me for this position. I'm humbled by it, and I can assure you, as I discussed throughout the interview process, my main focus is going to be establishing a very strong partnership with our community, and my spotlight is going to be on the community and all the people that play a part in our community in the town of Manchester. I've been here since 1993. My wife and I, we've raised our children here. We had 4 children. 2 of our children are raising their children here in town. So I can assure you, your concerns are going to be my concerns. And together, we're going to have a success.
Thank you.
So without further ado, I'd like to officially nominate Mr. John Hess as Manchester's next police chief. I think as a matter of protocol then, the town council requires a 3/5 vote per our charter, so we'd entertain a motion in a second to vote to confirm.
Well, I will gladly make a motion to nominate John Hess as our chief of police for the town of Manchester.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Congratulations.
Very exciting.
So waited long enough. We have the oath of office right here. If you don't mind stepping up to the mic, we'll swear you in and. I, John Hess.
I, John Hess,
Do affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and I will be faithful and will bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland, will support the Constitution and laws thereof, and I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of Chief of Police according to the Constitution and laws of the state.
yes, I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me to read.
You know, I read it and I mess up the same plot every time I do this. At least today. Yep. All right, I'll be there. And then Steve, you're up next with the town administrator report.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I want to congratulate, and I think I'll be the first one to say, congratulations, Chief Hess. I think Chief Hess, I know he'll bring professionalism and integrity to our police department, and as Mayor Warner said, without a doubt, I know he'll lead us into the future for the town, and he does have the community at heart. There's no doubt about that. Moving right along, we'll start with the October administrative report under pending items. The Sheets project, there has been no change in that. The SHA projects, the Route 27 Westminster Street widening project, there will be a semifinal review meeting which will be held at the Westminster State Highway Administration office on Tuesday, November the 26th at 9 a.m. We will be sending representatives to that. Our MEA grant, excuse me, we contracted CQI to complete an energy audit on 32 electrical accounts and our streetlights. Up to 20% of the grant can be used for this audit, and that audit began last Monday, so that company is doing a fine job on that. Our Sustainable Communities Work Group, currently our application is still under review, and a meeting of the work group is scheduled for next Wednesday, November the 20th at 2 p.m. here at Town Hall. In regards to 3337 Victory Street, settlement should take place over the next several weeks. Once that takes place, then we can get our internal task force together to make some decisions on the best use of that property. Under new construction, we have processed the last building permits for Manchester Farms Section 6. On October 30th, Michelle Wilder and I met with Marty Hill and Jim Pyatt in regards to the Old Town development. And we're recommending to the Mayor and the Council to look over the preliminary site plan. So if you'd like to stop in at Town Hall, we'll Under code enforcement, our synthetic drug ordinance will be introduced tonight later on for discussion. And one thing that has come back into town hall, we received numerous complaints over the last 3 weeks, and that's in regard to the feral cat issue. I brought in another group, Animal Advocates of Carroll County. I've given you some information on that group. We also have another group working with us, Metro Ferals, and both of these groups are nonprofit organizations. I know the Animal Advocate Group has done one trapping already. I would like the mayor and the council to think about this just for some discussion purposes only over the next month. The possibility of donating a contribution to these organizations. We do not have the manpower to actually go out and physically trap these cats and then transport them to the Humane Society. Probably, one round trip to the Humane Society for one of our people would probably cost $50 or more. These folks come in, as I say, they're volunteers and they're a nonprofit group. It seems like they want to help, and they have been helping, but we have to do something. We have at least 4 pockets throughout the town, 4 colonies throughout the town. One colony probably has somewhere around 45 to 50 cats. We've had residents stop by the office and they are concerned about their quality of life. So I think that this is coming back to the forefront, and we should consider something over the next several months. So that's up for discussion between you folks on that. Miscellaneous items. I attended a pay-as-you-throw seminar sponsored by Carroll County in regards to recycling and solid waste. On October the 15th, Michelle Wilder and I met with county reps in regards to the possibility of tree planting areas on town property throughout the town. On October 22nd, Michelle and I met with Jason Stick, floodplain manager for Carroll County, and Ed Copeland, who represents Maryland Department of Environment and FEMA in regards to any issues the town may be having in regards to the small amount of floodplains we have in our jurisdiction. And on October the 29th, Michelle and I met with Bobby Moser and Linda Eisenberg. Linda is the new Bureau Chief of Comprehensive Planning for Carroll County. That's it for the administrative report. We'll move into the Public Works report.
Steve,
Yes.
if I could. The pay-as-you-throw seminar, what was covered in that? Did you get anything worthwhile out of it?
I did. I got some helpful information on recycling. We have a situation in town where when we actually give the people a recycling bin. It seems like when that recycling bin fills up, they automatically, any other recycling they have automatically goes in the trash. So I did make some contacts and tried to grab onto some grant money. The possibility existed that we may be able to get larger bins for our residents for recycling. And that's what I'm aiming toward. Our numbers are good. We could do a little bit better, and I think we could do better by increasing the size of our recycling containers. Now, that being said, there may be another avenue where we could take is if people purchase their own recycling bin, just a regular trash can, we could supply them with some decals to make sure the trash hauler knows this particular bin is for recyclables only. So there's a couple avenues we can take on that. There were 2 guest speakers there that evening, and one particular person was out of Pennsylvania, and actually for a certain fee per month, you get 3 bins. You get a recycling bin, a solid waste bin, and a grass clipping bin. So it may be something we may want to look to into the future.
Is that in lieu of what we do now? So with that system, if you do, like, I think it was like, say, $17 a month or something, would that replace what we do now for trash? And
It could, yes. We could look at that by replacing that, yes.
because I think one thing that I guess to consider then would be, I don't know if that's the actual amount, but if it was $17 and if you added something else to it, it'd be whatever, is what do we really pay right now?
Correct. So you'd have to, see, what, we know what it cost us per stop. So the added attraction would be the three bins, whether it be small, medium, or large bins, you'd have to weigh out the difference. Then, to answer your, again, following up on my comment, Councilman Pacelli, if you had large items, you would purchase stickers from the municipality to put on there for a fee. For $5 a sticker, you could have your refrigerator taken away, your washer and dryer, or whatever you had to dispose of. So those were some of the items that come out of that. But I was actually zeroing in on the recycling, how we can make our numbers even better than what they are. That's what I was zeroing in on.
Do you know where we are right now?
I don't, I just received the numbers today. I looked at them real quick. I think our recycling numbers were about 26 tons for the month of October, which that's a little lower. Normally, I think we average around 28 to 29 tons per month recycling.
Do you know what it is in terms of, I know we used to hover around that 16% mark all the time. Do you know if is that increased or is that?
We're about in there. I'd say sometimes we hit it maybe 18%. I gave a rundown a few months ago. I'll do that for next month. I'll get that information to the council because I like to give them an update every so often. So.
Yeah, maybe, you know, I'm just thinking out loud here, one way that we can try to increase the participation in recycling and the amount of recycling relative to the amount of trash that we throw away.
Correct.
Is to publicize what that percentage is, and then, you know, set milestones, and I don't know if we work through the schools, or we, you know, have some sort of goal. If we meet this goal of, you know, 20% or whatever it is, then,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, I
because,
think if we reach, you know, if we can set a reachable goal, I think that would be great. We can do some PR work and try to reach that goal.
yeah.
Good. Okay. Moving right along into the October Public Works report, you have in front of you the monthly water and wastewater status report for October. This is an action item that's going to be, that I want to bring up after my report. Over the last probably 3 to 4 years, we have been looking for a very user-friendly GIS system for our water distribution system. And this is actually a location device which we can log all of our assets, whether it be fire hydrants, water distribution valves, curb valves, pipelines, things like this. We did find a good company. It is the WaterPoint Network, and it's very user-friendly. It uses iPads where our operators can go out into the field and load the information up as far as service lines, as far as curb valves, fire hydrants, and so on. It gets locked into a database, and then that database can be passed on to other iPads, which would be used in our maintenance shop and our wastewater division. We had a demonstration. I contacted Carroll County to see if this equipment could match up to their GIS equipment. It does. I checked with our company that's doing our water study. Actually, they came in for a demo, and they were very impressed with the system. And I'm recommending to the mayor and the council tonight that we purchase this system, and the total cost of that is $6,781.99. That being said, this would be the first step of a 3-step process. The next step, we would map our complete sewer system. The next step, we would map our stormwater system. Now, this comes in very handy because, for example, if we would happen to get 2 foot of snow out there, and we had a resident where their basement was flooding out for any couple reasons, our operators could go out to the site. They could locate that particular curb valve using GPS. It's built into the system, and it would put them right on the spot. So there wouldn't be any time delay trying to locate the water valve to shut the service off, and so on and so forth. Every once in a while, when we resurface roads, we cover over distribution valves. We go to find them to shut the water main down. We can't find them. Hey, the contractor has blacktopped over water valve. That's common. This would take us right to that location, and we would be able to locate that water valve. There's a lot of legwork that goes into the system, but But again, it's user-friendly, and once the system's in place, it's there. So it's locked in. So I think that's a good system for the town.
Steve, I fully support this idea since you first brought it up, because I think the only mapping system we have right now is in your head.
We
So
have
I do
some-
agree we need this.
It's in a couple of our heads, but yes, some of our plans were very vague back in the 30s and 40s, when the system was put in. As we evolved through the years, it got better. But here, this is a compact system, a total of 3 departments will use it, but it'll be so easy for the operators to use, so.
Do you have anything to compare that value, the 6,781, do you have anything to compare that to? Is that comparable to other systems that may be available?
Actually, it's a little bit better than other systems, and this system isn't as complex as some of the other systems we looked at. Some of the other systems, we had to use a laptop, onboard computer, had to stay in the vehicle. So this is a lot easier using the iPad technology.
How about brownie points with Maryland Department of the Environment and what we're facing over the next several years? Does this help us out at all? I'm just that's just like a little
Probably.
sidebar.
It can't hurt. It really can't hurt. Can only help us. I think they would be impressed. I know the county people are impressed with it. I know they're pretty happy that.
I'm
you
just
know,
looking at every avenue where we can help
Correct.
ourselves.
Correct. I have something else on that coming up later in my report, so, yeah, I know, yeah. But, okay, we can come back to that, that's an action item. Hydrant flushing took place on October the 23rd. One thing that our staff is very proud of, we completed our emergency operations plan, and I have a copy up there. That was probably a year's worth of work, and I want to thank the following staff. We put together a task force of our employees. Put that together. I want to thank Kelly Baldwin, our Director of Finance, Donald Knott, our Director of Public Works, Michelle Wilder, our Zoning Administrator, Delbert Green, our Water Supervisor, Ted Reed, our Wastewater Supervisor, Ray White, our Maintenance Supervisor, David Brown, our Park Supervisor, Gary Epley, one of our water operators, William Black, another one of our water operators, and Ken Black, one of our maintenance department crew members. Please take the time to look at that. That's very useful information. That's actually a revised copy. I think our first plan, we came out, I believe, in 2007 maybe. That is very in-depth. A copy of that is going to be sent to MDE, and also a copy of that will be sent to Carroll County Emergency Operations Center for their file. So a lot of detailed information in there, and it's off the shelf. Our operators, it's very simple. Our operators can grab it, pull it off the shelf, and follow it word for word. And we're pretty happy with that. So I want to thank that task force for putting that together. Under wastewater, new air relief valve was installed on the force main on Long Lane on October 17th. Both upper and lower belts were replaced on the sludge press at the wastewater treatment plant on October 22nd. And our operators are preparing the wastewater treatment plant for the switch over to stream discharge. Now we're going to move into stormwater. Under NPDS, stormwater and watershed implementation, 5 of our employees attended our annual stormwater NPDS training on November the 1st. And something that came out of that meeting, we have to talk about once we get into budget time. One thing that we learned, a change that was made from last year, we cannot wash our town fleet of vehicles on any blacktop surface unless it enters the wastewater system. We were allowed, by the rules and regs last year, that we could wash our vehicles in a grassy area. But if that wash water runs into the storm drains, since we're under a Phase 2 permit, we can be held liable for that, and we can be fined. Currently, we have one area at the wastewater treatment plant that we can pull our small trucks in and wash them off. But that doesn't help us with our big dump trucks. Once we come in off the streets from salting and plowing snow, we like to get the salt off the vehicles. So it appears over the next probably 8 to 10 months, we're going to have to rely on taking those vehicles to the car wash to get them washed. We have to take a hard look once budget time comes around, where we could possibly put in a additional store, in addition to a building at our maintenance shop, which would have double purpose. The double purpose would be we could use it for storage, and it could also be used as a wash bay for our vehicles. So we have to take a hard look at that, and that's the entire fleet of vehicles, from police cars to pickup trucks to our dump trucks, every equipment we have. We have to take a hard look at that. That's not good news.
Is that like statewide?
Pretty much, if you fall under the Phase 2 NPDS stormwater permit, that will affect you. Yes. Some municipalities have already installed wash bays for fleet.
You can't just pull into the grass and hose them off anymore.
No.
People, citizens can still do that, I guess,
Yes, they can.
for now.
For now. For now. Correct. Moving right along. Under maintenance, roads, and parks, our bathrooms have been winterized for the winter. Our crews are finished insulating the water meter pits, that's complete. Skate park issues. For probably Mayor Warner and Councilperson Pacelli, you may have remembered back February or March, April, a young man came in and had plans to work on the skate park. And at that time, we advised him that if he was going to do any work, if you were going to do any work on the skate park, please let us know so we can help you and make sure the additions you put in would not cause liability to the town. Well, we were told a few weeks ago that there were some additions that were going on at the skate park. So we didn't know who it was, so we actually put a sign up saying, look, whoever's doing this, if you don't come forward, this equipment's going to be removed on a certain date. And it turned out to be this young man. So I wrote him an email saying, look, we agreed to this, and this is what you're doing, but before you do any more work, let us know so we can work together on this. And he did send an email back and said he would. So we just have to slow him down a little bit. So that worked out real well, so we'll see how that goes. Leaf pickup began on November the 4th, and it will continue into December. And I already talked to a few of you, a few of you folks in regards to the tour of our facilities coming up. Looks like we're going to schedule that for maybe Monday the 25th at 9 a.m. Monday, November 25th at 9 a.m. So that's all I have. That's about enough.
So we have a couple of things, I
The
guess.
only action item I have is the Water Point program.
So before we get to that, on the emergency operations plan, Steve,
Yes.
would you be opposed to putting maybe a procedure in that up front, which would include like just a yearly cursory review and sign off? So there's some things in there like restaurants in town and contact information. Maybe if we've added a street, it may be easier to just that 1 year, hey, let's spend 2 hours
Yeah.
and just take a quick look, sign something saying, that we did it that
Right,
year.
we usually do. We'll review it every year, maybe every 2 years.
Yeah.
Similar to our safety policy, we do that. After we take care of some other items that we have to take care of, we're going to get into the wastewater end of it too.
Yeah.
We're going to have a wastewater emergency operations plan.
I had a question. You said, so the last building permit over in Manchester Farm Section 6 was issued. Anything going on with 7? Any new progress over there?
Right now, Section 7, they brought in their concept plans. There were some comments that were made, and they're taking that back and making some changes to that. We should maybe be hearing something from them after the first of the year, do you think?
Yeah, I haven't got any comments back yet, and they're not coming back for preliminary until we receive.
Correct.
But not immediate.
Right. But I do want you folks to stop in and look at the old town, review that.
That was my
Mayor
next
Warner
comment.
and- Yeah, Mayor Warner stopped in and looked at that.
Yeah, we spent a little time on that. So yeah, I would recommend that everybody do that.
more than one of these, small one-off developments. It's something that really would change traffic patterns in town. Because what they're kind of looking at now would have a street that would extend Southwestern and then come out at Maple Grove at the light. But there are some, issues with that. And then how does that play into the development? How does it play into the traffic? There's environmental concerns.
By the dentist's office.
Right. So I think it would be good if everyone kind of stays up to speed on that as that moves forward. And then so that everybody can weigh in on kind of how that one proceeds. And then one more thing I had, the feral cat issue, Steve, did you see that as like an action item now, or was that something to keep in mind? Did you have an amount in mind?
I want you folks to talk between yourselves and call me, because I have additional information. I can put you in touch with some of the residents. I mean, Kelly knows, Michelle knows, we've had residents at the window. I mean, they're at wit's end. I can't give them an answer, and I'm the type of person that if somebody comes in with a problem, I like to help them with it and get it resolved. I'm kind of hitting a block wall with the Humane Society. I know the Commissioner's Office is working on it with other areas throughout the county, but it is a problem. It's a huge problem.
And I suspect that for every person that's in fear or affected negatively, there's somebody feeding them and keeping them there.
That's correct, and that's what we're finding. We have these feeders out there, and they continually just keep feeding the cats, which draw more cats, and then you have domestic cats getting into the mix, so you just have a mess.
Every couple of years this comes up, right, where the population starts to expand on the
Right.
feral cats.
And I do have to agree with the TNR program. I think it works, but it takes time for this to go through its phase. In at least 2 areas of town, it's really getting out of control. There's no doubt of that.
Okay.
And this organization would come in and help us control the population,
Yes,
take them out.
both this organization, Animal Advocates, and also Metro Feral. And they have both done some trappings. In fact, Animal Advocates just did a trapping, I believe, last week. And they work with local vets who actually donate a lot of their time, to work with these groups to take care of the problem.
After they trap them and I guess they spay or neuter them,
Mhm.
what do they do with them then?
They return them back. They return them, they snip their ear, and that's how you identify that cat's been fixed. And then they bring them back to the same spot, because apparently if they take them to another location, their life expectancy isn't that long.
That was my next question. If it was more to have them dropped off in Westminster.
You can say that, I can't say that. So,
Kidding. Okay.
Before we get back to the GIS system, Steve, I just want to ask you, as a follow-up on the mayor's workshop for the stormwater management phase, anything that's been discussed, anything that's come up since that meeting?
actually, the
Worth
last thing that
mentioning?
I saw, and maybe Ryan, you can help me out with that, the mayor of Westminster,
Kevin
Mayor,
Utz.
Kevin Utz, he was to reach out to the other mayors to set something up. I don't know if that's taking place or not.
I haven't heard about a new date. There's been a couple dates kicked around. I haven't heard.
Right.
So it's not going to go away.
No,
That
it's not going away.
yeah, those meetings and discussions will continue.
No, that's, I was in class today. A gentleman was there from Anne Arundel County, and he's actually switching from the wastewater division over to the stormwater management division that they've created over the last several years. So, as I said before, I can see stormwater being the next utility. Some of the bigger jurisdictions, that's what they're looking at. Stormwater is gonna be another utility. It's here to stay. We have to deal with it the best we can.
With the GIS system, we have a budget line item for that?
I don't have it in front of me, but we have been putting monies away. We were gonna take monies out of the area service fees that we
Right.
collected from the town to fund the project.
Okay.
I guess we've been,
I'd have to go back and look, to be honest with you.
though
Yeah, I know it's in there every year, but,
Correct, correct. At least 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, at least
Yep.
3.
so that's an action item. Is there,
You were hoping for approval this evening to move forward with
I
that?
would like to, yes.
Isn't that something we have to put out for bid, or?
I don't know, I think that amount's 15,000 now.
Okay.
What's the bid limit?
That is 15,000, yes.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
didn't fall in that.
Okay.
So I didn't catch the exact amount, I know it was
Was it
6,100.
6,781.99?
Yeah,
$781.99.
$6,781.99.
So do we have a motion to approve that amount for Steve to move forward with the GIS project?
I'll make a motion that we approve $6,781.99 to move forward with the Waterpoint Network Geographic Information System.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anything else for Steve on the administrative side or Public Works? There's a lot of stuff in there, too. Okay, next order of business, the Manchester Police Department report. Does not hurt my feelings, this will be my last one. These I have to do, hopefully. I will fill in if you can't make it, but I would like to thank Corporal Selesky, who's done really an excellent job of keeping me abreast of, and I think the rest of the council. So these reports have been coming in, they have the detail that we want. You know, he's been very, I think he's worked well with Steve and the town staff in terms of getting a good communication going back and forth so that we don't have kind of two houses here. You know, one not knowing what the other one's doing. So during the month of October, 57 calls for service, 4 criminal arrests, 42 traffic stops. Those are really the highlights. Again, I know I say this every month, but you know, we are interested for anybody out there if there's traffic concerns in your area, if there's criminal concerns in your area. You know, please call the town, call the police department. We now have a new point of contact at the police department. You know, we do want to know the things that, you know, maybe we're not aware so that we can react to them. So that the quicker we get that information, the quicker we can put a plan in place. I think that the sign's probably away for the winter now, right? Our speed sign?
Oh, it is, but we can bring it out. I mean,
Okay.
we were gonna do some work with it on York Street, and also Halley Avenue here once we get Chief Hess settled in.
Right.
We're gonna do some work on gathering some traffic data for Halley and York Street.
But one thing I know this is an aside, you and I had a conversation, it's probably been a few months now, but I'd like to look at some point, some of the hanging ones. The additional, because I think they were considerably cheaper and they're a little bit easier to move, maybe we can get some of the same data from them. Because that seems to be, just having those out there is a good way to kind of remind people to slow down. And because, you know, with the 6 guys we have, we can't be everywhere all the time.
Yeah, I think the sign could be utilized more than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And our Public Works Department guys, they will move it anywhere, you know, you want it. So, you know, that's just something that we'll work on, so.
That's the police report.
Well, it's good news there are no juvenile arrests in the month of October. That was good news.
Yeah. Always good news. Or we didn't catch him. Next order of business, introduction of ordinance 215, which is the synthetic drug ordinance. Essentially, and I won't read the whole thing, and we're introducing this tonight. This will be open, a copy of it will be available on the town website here in the town hall. Essentially what this is adding to the town code a prohibition against synthetic drugs. Currently there's not one. This is kind of a moving target, not just for our town, but for law enforcement in general. And this is the beginning of giving us some teeth to regulate and shut down some of the synthetic drug traffic, which is currently legal in the state of Maryland and legal in Manchester. Some other jurisdictions, such as Ocean City, where we modeled our ordinance after, have had some success using an ordinance similar to this to help get that under control. So if you're interested in that, please get a copy of it. Please weigh in. The intention is that we would leave this open for a month, vote on this in December, I guess, and then get to work.
Did any of you guys,
Were we able to obtain any kind of statistics from jurisdictions who haven't implemented ordinances like this? Anything out there? You know, they implemented, was there
aware of
anything positive, or was it effective?
From what I've read, and I've read some things throughout a couple different counties throughout Maryland, and basically it has cut down on some of the crimes as well. And I'm talking about from small crime to some larger things that are being dealt with, even in Carroll County. You know, that it would help the ones in Carroll County. The other towns that are doing, I believe Frederick County does it. Isn't that one, Frederick County? I read
think
about,
so.
and a couple others, and they said it has made differences.
Good.
it's unfortunate Councilman Black's not here tonight. She's really taken the lead on this and done a lot of, she's been to some seminars, and I know Councilman Smith, too, is one of the people that really brought this, to our attention. So thank you for working that area, and we'll vote on that next month. Questions and comments from the community? We have Barbara Bundy.
How you doing?
Good. Do you have something you'd like to bring up? If you don't mind stepping up to.
First of all, I'd like to say good evening to everyone, council people and mayor. I was wondering about, I know I missed the last election, but I was wondering when the next one was going to be, and also the qualifications for a council position.
It is, this is 2013, so it would be May 2015,
Correct.
And
Okay, so
then-
I just missed it.
third Tuesday.
Okay.
So about a year and a half.
Okay.
And then, I know you've been a resident here for a long time now.
Oh, yes.
She's registered to
11
vote.
years.
We know she's
Right.
registered to vote.
Yeah, you,
Yes, and I've been registered
Yeah.
Right.
since I was knee-high to a pup.
yeah.
But anyway, one more thing, and I'll be out of your way, and that is, all of these taxes, like, are we going to get the rainwater tax? Is that going to be a part of Carroll County or no?
I think that's a difficult question to answer. Steve may be able to, I guess, provide, I think the best way I could describe it is that the thing that we can't control is that rolling down from the Maryland Department of the Environment and ultimately from the EPA, there are unfunded mandates coming down of things that we have to do. So in order to continue to have a permit to process water and treat wastewater, we need to meet certain criteria. So really, we're kind of getting pushed on, and we don't know what our total really bill is going to be over time, but it could be in the millions of dollars where we don't have a choice. We have things we have to do. They'll leave it up to us, meaning, both the town, other municipalities around the state, and counties in general, how they want to go about raising, funds to do that. The rain tax that you read about in the paper and see on TV, I think, is at the county level, where the county really had a requirement that they had to institute some sort of rain tax, if that's what you're going to call it. We don't have a requirement to institute a rain tax. We only have a requirement to meet criteria that's going to cost money. So we know we're going to have to spend money. We have to determine what's the best way to, to get it and then to, spend it as efficiently as possible to meet the criteria.
And one more question, then I'm out. We pay, as far as I can see, at least 3 taxes as far as cleaning up the Chesapeake Bay. We pay it when we go and renew our driver's license. We pay it in our trash collection or pickup. And if they institute the rainwater tax, isn't that going to be a part of the cleanup for the Chesapeake Bay? I was just wondering how many times were we going to pay taxes for the same thing?
Yeah. I think you're probably preaching to the choir here.
Okay.
So
We're not
those are,
calling shots here.
yeah,
We're
those
not calling
those are all
shots.
state taxes. And I think you're probably even missing some because the flush
'cause it's-
tax, so to speak, is supposedly for
It's
the
about
Chesapeake Bay.
26 taxes, really.
Yeah,
that have
and
been
I think it's a
instituted.
component of the gas tax as well. But
Uh-huh.
you know, my understanding is that all of the taxes that they claim or for the bay don't really go to the bay.
Okay, I figured that.
Right.
But I'm just so taxed out, you know, I was just wondering, when is the madness gonna stop?
You're not alone.
Okay.
I think
You're not
about
alone.
that every day.
Oh,
And it's just, it seems like every month a new mandate comes down. And, you know, it affects the municipalities. It has a big impact on the farming community. I don't foresee anything stopping, at least in the next 6 years, at least. And if our neighbors to the north, and I'm talking about New York, Pennsylvania, you know, don't come on board, you know, because everything flows right down into the Chesapeake Bay, you know, and they don't come on board to meet the same goals that we're trying to meet. In fact, we have to meet more stringent goals. You're not gonna see any difference in the bay. And there's gonna be billions of dollars pushed down into the bay, and it's gonna have no impact whatsoever. None.
And we can't do anything as citizens?
And
Elect new
Yeah.
Yes.
leaders.
That's how they think about that. We
Right.
can
Wait for
replace
the
the old
election.
ones. Yes. Okay, then. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
Thank you.
cooperation.
Yeah, I didn't
Right,
realize
thanks for
that last
responding.
meeting that the Susquehanna River puts more pollutants into the bay than any other tributary.
Yeah. See how big it is?
you're absolutely right.
It probably would be the Potomac, but the Potomac comes in so low. The Susquehanna's dumping like most of the water from like,
Yeah,
yeah.
New York.
So Susquehanna was the worst, and I didn't realize Chop Tank River was the worst in Maryland.
Correct, you're correct.
And not a single drop of rainwater from here winds up in either one of those places, so.
If we can track it.
Right. Unless, yeah, I guess if it falls on a car and then you drive it down there. but- Anybody else? All right. Hearing none, we'll go to committee reports. Councilman Smith?
I don't have anything.
Councilman Black is not here. I'm really late in announcing this, but she did leave a letter of support for now Police Chief Getz. Police Chief Hetz. Push pause on that thing. I'm sorry, Chief. So, she did leave a letter, and she is on board and was fully supportive, and that's my mistake in not mentioning that earlier. Councilman Pacelli?
Unfortunately, I was unable to make it to the last Merchants Association meeting, but it's my understanding that the recent events they sponsored, to include the Cake Walk, Pizza Walk, was very successful. I see that Gary's back there. Do you have anything to add?
No, it was.
I hate to put you on the spot, but I couldn't make my schedule.
Great success.
It
We
was.
didn't have a huge crowd, but it was a manageable, and everybody had a great time. And what got me the most is when the crowd was breaking up and leaving, all we heard was, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was great.
So we can plan on that again next year.
I hope so.
Good.
I heard a lot of positive about that as well.
I did, yeah. I would conclude my report.
And Councilman Walter?
I don't have anything new to report, but I'd like to again congratulate and welcome Chief Hess to the town of Manchester government, and I know I look forward to working with you. I'm sure everybody does as well.
Anything else for this board? We can get out of this meeting before I mess up any more names. We're gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good night.